So I came into the studio in my office, and I had to move things around. This is where we were wrapping Christmas presents and everything from Santa Claus. But thank goodness I had used green frog tape, and I put markers down where my lighting goes and where my desktop goes and where my microphone goes for the perfect setup. Welcome to episode 13, Inside the Interview Room, Truthful versus Deceptive Statements. Okay, what you just heard before, by the way, this is part 3, semantics. Now, hopefully you got back to see part 2 and part 1. If not, go back and pick those up because this all plays together. Now, what I described to you was semantics. I was explaining things. Semantics is the how and why of things. So I had to move this and why I put the markers on the floor and setting up my camera. Okay? This is what you find in truthful statements, verification process. All right. For example, the subject says, I came in and there were 2 doors. Or you're talking about, for example, you're interviewing the clerk at a convenience store robbery, and there's questions about was it really staged or is it robbery? Not unusual, right? Okay. And he says, the beer guy came and I hadn't packed the meat back in the cooler yet, so just had him put the beer cases just inside the door, and I moved them later when I had room next to the meat counter. That's semantics. So it's describing why of actions and how things are set up the way they are. This is what you'll find in truthful statements. Those are missing in deceptive statements, because they're really just staging things as opposed to experiencing things. Now, this also depends a lot on the type of questions that you ask in the format. So here's our mind grabber. Short questions like who, what, where, how, when, and why recover very little. It's almost like using an eyedropper to sample ocean water. We need open-ended questions. Show me, walk me through, describe, explain, demonstrate for me, where you're eliciting a long stage statement. That's where you get these data that helps you evaluate truthful or deceptive statements. Okay? So be sure to go back and check up the other episodes to fit in for the 1 and 2 of this, part 3. Look forward to part 4 next week when we go into the cognitive section. Very interesting block. Okay? Remember, episode drops on Tuesday. And then remember, what happens in the interview room echoes in the courtroom. See you next week. Be safe.